3.
Yeah.
How do you deal with success? Do you stay aware? Okay, so you're going to answer that first. And then underneath all that, do you look at the views, the comments, the number of subs you have, or can you compartmentalize? Like, okay, I didn't get a lot of views on that, but it was a fun video. I still have my subscribers. How do you deal with your success?
Yeah. Well, mine at first was when it first started happening, and I was like, oh, look, I've done 9 episodes of the show, and I went from having, 60 subscribers that were all my friends on my channel, which was making crazy, stupid videos, to 1,000 in like 8 videos. And I'm like, oh, this is taking off. And so the beginning of it for me took off like, it like went woof like this first, and I was like, whoa, within the first like couple of seasons of doing these reactions. And so I was 20 hours in uni, so I was like, I've got over 1,000, I've got 2,000 subscribers. Anyway, so you have that sort of like little thing, because not as a kid, but as a young person, I always really wanted to get into YouTube, and it was sort of, I never imagined I'd do reactions. I always wanted to be that sort of vlogger who's like, hey, welcome to a day in my life, which was all the rage in the early 2000s, 2010.
Okay.
So at first I kind of, like, I think most people would enjoy a sort of like, you still, I think most people would be willing to say, no, they won't. I'm willing to say, that you get a little bit of a, your ego goes, but, there's people watching me. And then, so you get into that. And that's the great part. And then what happens is a new channel comes along, say, let's call it American Mum, and suddenly gets 60,000 subscribers in a day.
No, I didn't. Shut up.
And you're like, oh, no. But what I'm saying is, then what happens is you start to look at other people's channels that are doing similar stuff to you, and you're like, okay, well, why has, this person got so many views, or why have I got more person than this views? And stuff like that. And then you start looking at your like subscriber counts, and you're like, well, I'm, further ahead than this person or behind, and they've got more. Right. And then that's when it starts to get into that place where you're like, oh, like, I'm not good enough, and why nobody wants to watch me, and all this, and what is it about me? And then you start to, so I did go through that. But then I think it's really different with reactions, and you might agree with this as well, in that there is a bulk of people who will subscribe and watch your videos, but they are there to watch one type of video, whether that's they're there to watch the Game of Thrones reactions, they're there to watch Westworld reactions, they're there to watch like your music video reactions or something like that.
Right.
They're only there for that. So it's great to have, I don't know, 200, 300,000 subscribers, but then you need to stop and think, well, hang on, what is my, what is the ratio to views on videos? And then you start going through that. Because I've noticed recently, which I'm not surprised, I've started losing subscribers. I was like, oh, I'm nearly up to nearly 70 or 16,500. Yeah, 17,000 close to. But then it started to drop down again, I think, because a lot of people are here just for the Game of Thrones reactions, which is fair enough. But then it's sort of like, I think it's different for us as reactors compared to a lot of, I think it really depends on what your channel is going to be about. For reactors, you have like maybe 3 or 4 different types of subscribers, like those who are just there for a reaction, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then those who joined for the same reason, but then have gone to enjoy whatever you're doing next, which I found, which really, sometimes I see a lot of comments on, like, for example, at the moment when we're recording this, I'm obviously doing the Horror October thing with the live stream every day.
I've been joining every day, and that is so much fun. Y'all have to tune in. Whether you've seen the horror films or not, I don't care. They're classic, and we chat, and we all get a jump scare at the same time. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. But for that, it's been really great, because I've seen people who are commenting and saying stuff like, I've never, I never thought about watching these, but I want to watch them with you and stuff like that. So that's nice to get that sort of thing. I think everyone goes through a stage of having that moment where they're like, oh, why aren't I doing as well? Or, what is it about these videos that's, or somebody else that's doing similar videos that is, better, and then you start, then that can get you into a hole, and then you need to find a minute to say, okay, let me step out of this.
Right.
Like, this isn't real life. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's online, and you could, you know, me and you, we could delete all our social media, close everything, and still live a life, and it, you know, you would end up forgetting about it.
Life goes on if we did that. It really does. If we just realize that,
you can have, and I think it's fine to have those thoughts of, you know what's going on, because I think sometimes you need that to think, okay, maybe I can push myself to do something, and it might push you out your box to try a new video or something different to try and get that. But I think the key is to not think those analytics, because YouTube analytics are insane, crazy thing anyway. So it might not necessarily have anything to do with the other YouTuber. Like that, it just might be that YouTube is pushing somebody else's content in front of yours. So it's not like it's not a personal thing. It's just it's the algorithm, and YouTube algorithm is crap. So
I got a buttload of when I started doing music reactions, because I love music. I know you love music. And those had the highest views. And then I was like, I don't want to just do music. I want to go back to some TV or movie reactions, and I want to do something different. But you kind of feel like you're being not controlled by the comments, but they're saying what they want, what they really, really want. And I can't provide that. Like, or I would have no life. I would not eat. I would not sleep. I could not react to every single thing. And then you feel like you're pissing people off. So they're not going to watch whatever you do put out.
It's easy to jump on and film or react to something. And again, this is just obviously from a reactor's point of view, to think, oh, well, I'll watch this because it's going to get hundreds of thousands of views. But whether the difference is then if you're doing all this stuff that you're just doing it for the views and not because you enjoy doing it, is then when it becomes a task. And I found that with the second lot of Game of Thrones reactions, because the first time I was just doing it and I thought, oh, let's do it. Then the second time round, I was already sort of out of the zone halfway through I was reacting, because I was sort of like, I'm just, not really, and not, trying to be like, oh, it's all because Daenerys, or spoilers, it's what happened to the ending of Game of Thrones. Sorry, it's not, that. It's just, you think, oh, it's the editing. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh God, I'm on season 2 and I've got to re-edit all these things that I've watched twice
click.
And cut down to 10 minutes, and then be told by YouTube, oh, this is blocked worldwide because of this part. Then you've got to go back and re-edit it. So these people who say, and it's only a minority, because I don't want to make out that everyone in these comments are awful, but there's a minority of people who will be like, why isn't this up? Where is it? How long? For example, I had a few people when one of my most recent Game of Thrones reactions got blocked. Where is it? Any news on every video? And people commenting back to them saying, like, he's told you it's blocked. Yeah, he's waiting for it to be unblocked, and he's disputed it. So what can you do? So I think for me, it's, and for other people to do it, to start YouTube, it's important to do something that you enjoy. And I think eventually you will. It might take a year. It might take a year and a half, but eventually you will find a niche of people, whether that be 100 or 100,000 or a million, that enjoy your content. And that is the most important thing. Do not get swept away with thinking about, well, I'm going to react to this because people who react to this have got millions of views. If it happens organically and you enjoy it, great, but don't just pick stuff out for the sake of it, because then you're just sitting there all day going, oh, I'm doing it for the views, and that's not what YouTube should be about. True. Especially reactions. Believe me, babe, you don't get any monetization on half of these videos, so there's no money.
Exactly. And I'm not going to sit there and act like I enjoy watching an anime show when people have requested that out the yin yang, and I'm like, I ain't doing anime. Yeah. And I'm not doing, Westworld Part 2. Sorry, I know you liked it, George, but Westworld 1 effed my brain up. So, people would watch me, but I didn't enjoy the first one that much, but I said I'd finish it. So I did. Yeah. And that was it. And they were like, please. And I was like, no way.
Well, I didn't react to Series 3 of that, because I was just like, I know, after watching the trailer for the third season, I was like, this isn't interesting me. And I just don't think, that it's right for what I want to do. Yeah. It's easy for you to put it. Say if you just want to watch it in your own time, that's a lot different than people think. that reacting is the same as watching it in your own time. It's like, you don't understand. I have to watch it, make sure the camera, microphone, I sound stupid, is all set up, microphone's on, lights are fine. Then I've got to make sure I've got enough charge in the battery, the camera's got the SD card. Then I need to watch it, make sure that the camera's still on constantly while being, you know, sort of not sitting there like, like that. And then sit there for another 2 hours and edit it down into a 10-minute thing. So it's important.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more. And so if you're thinking about being a reactor, think of these. I've got 2 more questions for George, but think about if you do have a body issue image, like you have to have thick skin. If you want to do this, do it. You have to deal with the haters. That's where the thick skin comes into. Don't take everything personally because it's their issue, not yours, like George said. And dealing with the success, you may have a rise in numbers and then it might just keel out. And it's nothing that you've done per se. It's just like, just go with it. It's fine. Okay. Well, number 3, how do you deal with the success of your channel? Are you aware of the subs? Do you keep an eye on how many views something has gotten? Are you able to compartmentalize? Like it doesn't matter, or how are you dealing with it?
I'm not obsessed with it. I will go and, you know, check my subs maybe every once a week or so.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get, oh, you know, I got to have this many or whatever. It's never been that for me.
Yeah.
When we started, I was surprised we got any subscribers. So to have as many as I have now, it still blows my mind. We're almost at 3,000.
I know. I
can't believe that many people watch us, but oh well. Good.
But it's I think both of y'all allow your viewers to have a good time when they're watching. It's like we're in the room with you. Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, you know, watching with 2 crazy people who you might have in your living room if we could be there, but
I would love to be there. I'm a little bit far away, but hey, you never know. One day, I might be like, I'm getting on a plane.
Belinda will literally drive anywhere. I've already told her road trips. You know, we start making a bit of money here. We're going somewhere.
There you go.
There are some videos that I will watch the views on, like the Game of Thrones season 6 finale. Like for example, like I'll look at the views on that just to see, you know, how far out there it got, and I'm always impressed by it. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's cool, but I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not compulsive about it.
And I think that's a good thing too, because if we don't set our expectations really high, then we can't be disappointed.
That's right. That's how I started. I was like, if nobody subscribes, I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I think I got my big wave, and I'll be honest, I think I got the big wave that I did when I started my channel because y'all were waiting on season 7. And I remember this distinctly. When I started reacting, it was like May. And I was like, people were like, oh my gosh, season 7 starts July 21st. You need to catch up. And I was like, it's May and I just started. I'm in season 1. But then I was like, then I made it my mission. And I was like, I reacted to it almost every day. And I did catch up with a week to spare. But I think that's how people they were like twiddling their thumbs, kind of like we have to do whenever it's, you know, you have to wait a whole year in between. And then I never had to wait until before season 8 came out. And then I was like, oh, this sucks. Let me find somebody that's reacting to Game of Thrones.
That's what, I mean, I was one of the people watching Reactors at the time.
Yeah.
So I was watching you. I was watching everybody else just to keep my Game of Thrones fix through the hiatus.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people did it. Hogwarts Reacts was a big one for me. I watched her all the time.
I did too. And I was going, hurry up with the next one. Brian.
Exactly.
And she's not even editing it. She's reacted to it. Brian, put it together.
Come on.
I'm gonna have something to say. Yeah, come on. I mean, you know how this works.
I got a big boost from you actually. We got a huge boost of subscribers from you.
Oh, good.
I think after you shouted us out, we got like 700 subscribers in a week or two.
Oh,
maybe.
good.
And I was like, and that, I mean, we're up to almost 3,000 now, and that's a huge percentage of people that you brought us. So we are so grateful for that.
Oh,
and,
we'll
never forget it. Never forget it.
I only shout out the people I know that are really committed and are into it and are, you know, are somebody that I would want to watch. And I think if people are subscribed to me, then I want to say, hey, if you like watching my reactions, watch such and such. So that, I can't believe that many hundred people actually listen.
So many. I was like, Belinda, Michele hooked us up.
Y'all are going to hit 5,000 soon. I mean, you're almost done with Game of Thrones, but y'all are into season 3 of Stranger Things, and you've done 1 and 2, and y'all were all about that. Your Patreon page for $1 getting full reactions.
Yes, I wanted everybody to watch it.
Awesome.
You know, and then I thought, well, if it's $1, maybe more people would. Jump in because it's really cheap. I mean, you can't afford $1 a month. You know?
a month. Put aside 4 quarters a month. And it's so worth it to see the full reactions too, because I like when you get ready and then you got to put your glasses on and you're like, I thought that's the name of this episode. And Belinda's looking at you like, why isn't she prepared? And then it's just, y'all go, it's a sisterly fun. Just, I'm just having a hoot time. Just, it's fun. And everybody should sign up for that.
People enjoy it. And I'm glad we can make people laugh and,
really
heavy, serious show to, have
that's
some
true. And that's another point. Like, y'all don't laugh and miss anything that's going on. Like, I've seen Belinda just like, she gets scared. She gets sad. She gets like, and you're over there trying to like not cry again or, so it's not like y'all are ignoring it. Oh yeah, you should cry. Just be like, it's so good. It's so good.
It is.
Okay. Number 4. All right. Number 3. How do y'all deal with success? Now there's parts to this underneath, and we kind of hit on the comments already. But do you stay aware of your subscribers, the views that you get, the comments? Nikki, we've talked about that. Like, I like to put a heart on a comment and read every single one. And I did that, but it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how are you able to deal with that success? Because, do you look at that or have you ever focused on it?
Well, to talk about the heart stuff, when we originally started out, that's what I like to do, to let you know that I read your comment. I would heart everything, but it gets to a point where it's like, I don't agree with what you're saying. I do not want to heart your comment. Like, but then it's not fair because then you've hearted the person above you and the person below you, but not your comment. So I stopped doing that because it's a slippery slope.
Right.
And if you just leave it be, just, yes, I've read your comment and we're going to move forward. Nothing needs to be hearted because it's just not necessary.
I spend more time responding to comments than going through and hearting every one of them.
When somebody leaves a comment, wouldn't you like to have a conversation versus leave a heart? So
yeah.
And I stay out.
Well, I like how y'all too were doing, I think it was for The Walking Dead. You were at the beginning of your reactions, you were taking time to put them on the screen and you would just like pick some. So obviously you have had to have gone through the comments to pick out ones that you think, okay, a lot of people have been asking this, so I'm going to put up this one. And then y'all would talk about that. So I don't think people need to focus. You guys don't need to focus so much on if we heart, your comment. We see you. Once the moderators have said, okay,
yes,
Vicky and Steven, you can read video, this. They're going to read it. They're just not going to heart it anymore. And it's because there's 300 comments or however many can go on and on. It gets out of control. And then, but they're reading them. And I kind of like when y'all did that because I was like, well, that's a good question, and then y'all would both answer it. So
it's always, the comments always provide good talking points because we love discussing the episode prior before the episode we're about to watch, and then we like to do a nice recap. So it's always the folks watching always provide really, really great talking points. So
and like, a different point of view, a different perspective. Like they were, raised completely different. So they might think that some villain is actually doing something really good, but you don't ever think of that because that's not the way you were brought up. Yeah. So the comments are awesome for the most part.
Yeah. Because they can bring out something and make you go, oh, well, it could. Okay. I see why they, I can see why you would think that. That makes sense. I still stick to what my theory is, but that's possible. That's interesting.
Yeah, we're open.
When I started my YouTube channel, it baffled me that I had 50 subs. And then I would wake up and there'd be 1,000 subs. And then I'd wake up the next day. So I was checking them daily for a while because I couldn't believe, and I kept thinking, views, subs, are these the people watching me do, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't comprehend it at the time. And then it just, once it hits a certain number, then I wasn't checking it every day, but it freaked me out at first. Did y'all find yourself doing that with views, like, versus subs or both indivially?
Yeah. I kind of handle all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
just excited to hang out with my friends, like on the internet. Y'all are my friends on the internet. We're all hanging out.
I mean, I've been creating content in the digital space professionally for a long time. So I always focus on the business aspect when you're putting so much time and effort into something. The views and the subs and like success, like I don't even know how you gauge success in this space, to be honest. It's such a hard thing to like determine. Like success for someone over there might not be the same thing as success in like my head.
I was just gonna say it's relative. It's
a really, really difficult thing to even just be like, oh yeah, we're successful. It's like, okay. But I focus on that stuff because I do have certain goals. I personally have certain things that I'm striving for with the content we're creating. So in that sense, I'm comparing numbers to themselves, essentially. I'm always looking at things within our own vacuum just because it's like I spend, and this goes to anybody who does any kind of content creation, or I spend 4 or 5 hours editing on a single reaction, depending on the length of the show.
Right.
So I'm putting a lot of time and effort personally into creating this content. So I'm definitely looking at the views and what works, what doesn't work, what kind of facial expressions is Nikki making to make in the thumbnail to like get people to pay attention. Like I'm always looking at that stuff because it is more than just like a hobby. Like as much fun as it is for us, I take this very serious because of how much work and time and money and effort and all the stuff that has been put into all the content we've created over 3 years. So I still look at the views every day. Like I'm still refreshing the subs don't so much matter. Those numbers are really cool and it's really amazing. And we're super appreciative of anybody who wants to hit that sub button.
Definitely.
Like,
when we hit 10,000, I was just like, oh my God, insane. You guys, this is crazy.
I mean, it's still literally one of those things where it's like, we don't have that many subscribers. Like,
no,
that's just silly to me. And it's just one of those things where it is fun and awesome, but it's also hard work. And that's something that's one of, I'll give y'all some ammo if you really want it.
Oh shit, here we go.
I want it.
For the trolls.
Oh my God.
One thing that triggers me like crazy is when people assume how easy this is, or how you're just sitting there watching the show and it can't be that hard to like, well, editing.
What are you even doing all day?
Can you just binge watch this already?
Yes. I'm like, I have 2 children that are home, that are, in school on Zoom, a house to take care of, him to take care of because he's a 3rd child, like animals, like the outside, myself, how I look, what I do, this and that. what people think of me.
It's
And
like,
we stay up until like nights that we stream, we are up until like 2 a.m., sometimes longer for him because he likes to play Call of Duty. But like like other nights, we're up until 1 a.m, like every single night. So it's not like there are not enough hours in the damn day.
Yeah.
there's not. And people don't realize that. And they just feel like they almost feel entitled.
Yes.
Just because there's, they subscribe to your channel, you're not, it's all free. This is free entertainment, unless you've joined Patreon and you want extra perks and early access and like you want, little fun goodies, then you get on someone's Patreon page. But everything on YouTube is, it's free. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free all. We're the ones who put money into it, lighting, the cameras, the recording equipment, the editing software,
The time.
the speaker.
Time is more valuable than anything.
And this is like up your alley, Steve. Not that it makes it any easier for you at all, but that's why you take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, I've kind of wondered, like, why am I getting, let's say 150,000 or 250,000 views on a video, but I don't have 250,000 subs. Like I let that mess with my head. Like they don't like anything else that I do. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, should I do something else? And then it's like something gets 10,000 views and other people might get more. And I'm thinking, okay, now I have 150,000 subscribers and I'm getting 10,000 views. They don't like this either. I take it both ways. I take it, it's neither good or bad. And I don't dwell on it anymore, but I did do that for a while. And I was like, why aren't these like lining up? Not exact, but close.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we focus on that, we will all go crazy.
Well,
So.
I'm going to go crazy. If we focus on that stuff.
Ta-da, I'm crazy.
I think
Maybe that's what did it.
I think it's fascinating though. Like I don't see like Ozark as an example.
Yeah.
Is a show. I won't obviously spoil anything for anyone. But
I want to watch it. I want to watch it and then I'll watch y'all's reaction.
So we were doing Ozark and The Boys at the same time. The Boys reaction, obviously The Boys was live and people are excited about it, but those videos get probably
Twice as many.
100 times more views almost. Wait, do the math.
2 or 100, Nikki. Pay attention. Get involved.
Let me teach the children any math. A lot more views than Ozark.
Exactly. Okay.
And Ozark is an award-winning show. People love it. It's an amazing TV show. Those views, that show doesn't get a lot of views, and it makes you kind of think and like, why is that doing that and that's doing that? Or like Game of Thrones is probably the greatest reaction series that anybody could ever do.
Yeah.
Why is that bigger than like, I don't know, name whatever show might be number 2 on people's lists?
The Walking Dead, of course.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, number 1,
so
number 2.
it's one of those things where I just think the fan base is, are they seeking content?
Right.
The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Vikings, The Expanse. These are all fan bases that I feel like seek out certain content and welcome people into their communities, where maybe like a Breaking Bad doesn't necessarily have like a fan base that like wants to seek out content or stuff like that. Like I'm always fascinated by the numbers and who's watching what and who's not watching this and who's watching that. So like I look at all of it and I'm very interested in all those numbers. So
well, and also, but like when you like talk about Ozark and stuff, it's like, how is this not getting views? This show is so good.
That's what I've heard. My husband watches it.
Watch it. It's great.
I need to. I think he wants me to watch it with him. We watch The Walking Dead together. But I just can't. I can't get on screen with him. I can't. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. Bless his heart. I love him to death. I just can't watch certain shows with him. It's just, I don't know why. But
that's the way it was with Dexter with him. I started watching it. It was my show. And then he started watching it. And I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore with you.
Right.
Coming back, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they announced it today. 10 episodes.
That's going to be amazing.
Because you've seen the whole thing, Nikki?
Oh, yeah.
Or have you both seen all of it now? Because
Like
the ending, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the ending just kind of made me go, huh? I know. So I'm not going to.
God, like this is what you came up with? Really?
I
That was
know.
my first thought. I was like, oh, they can fix it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. But yeah. Hey, Game of Thrones, take notice. Season 9. You have time?
Yeah.
I don't know about the sequel that they're doing or the Winds of Winter or whatever.
Yeah.
Prequel. I don't know. I don't even think I'm going to bother with that. I'm going to leave it as is for me.
Yeah.
We'll watch it and see where we go.
We get a lot of requests for that.
Do you? Okay. Well, if you're getting requests, then definitely do what the fans want. I always said, like, when I started something new, I'm going to give it a season.
Yeah.
And if I'm not into it, I'm not going to just sit there and fake it and I know y'all feel the same way.
Yeah. We've stopped a few shows.
I watched season 1 of Westworld, and it all came at no point did I suspect anything that was coming.
That show.
It just was like
insane. Yeah.
That's why we didn't watch the 3rd season of Westworld, because I was like, this is a no from me.
Yeah.
They wanted me to watch season 2, and it was, we're gonna watch. Oh, please, the trailer looks awesome. I said, stop asking. The answer is no. It was like, my children. I mean, go to timeout. I said no.
Exactly.
I said no because I said no.
Exactly.
Oh, and I knew in the back of my mind I would get the views. They were going to watch it, but I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah, no.
You have to be in
I
there.
didn't understand it.
I'm not gonna fake it just because y'all want me to watch it. Like that's not fun for anybody.
I don't want to open myself to ridicule on the internet because I didn't understand something.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Exactly.
We got plenty of that with Westworld though, because everybody was like, well, how did you not see this? And it's like, what are you talking about?
I know. All right. The 4th question I have for you guys. So that brings me to number 3. How do you deal with success? The success of your channel. Are you aware of the comments? Do you keep an eye on the views? Are you aware of the subs that you have? Or can you just kind of push that to the side?
Yeah, that tends to be another thing. Like often my family members will be like, oh, how many subscribers do you have now, by the way? And that's when I'll check. I don't tend to check it myself anymore. I used to in the early days, absolutely. I'd be there like refreshing all the time. But now all I want is a nice community, and if we get more and more people who are going to be part of that and be really nice and open and welcoming and open to debate about things, then that's awesome. But I want to still focus on the people who have been there since the beginning and have always been so nice and supportive and sweet about things.
Yes.
So I try to kind of focus on the here and now. These are my reactions I'm doing this week, and these are the shows I may do in the future, and maybe I'll get more people from that. But I try not to think about it too much, because I think it's good to remain humble and grounded, because if you do let things maybe get to your head in a way or change you, you're not going to react and be the person in reactions that you were at the start. And that's what all the people kind of came and stayed for in the first place.
Exactly. They came for who you were. And if it changes, they'll let you know. But I think, and I had shared this with some of the other reactors, like, I think I started the channel at a good time for me, because, and I noticed the sub count and the number of views because I started with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And like, that was the first big show. And I remember, this was almost 3 years ago. And I still remember people saying, oh my gosh, I wish you could, I'm enjoying your reactions with Game of Thrones. You're going to love it. But I wish you could watch season 7 with us. It starts July 21st, whatever year that was. And I had just started, and they were like, but you're never going to catch up. And I thought, well, I'll show you. Yes, I will catch up. So I started reacting like 4 days a week, and I was just like pumping them out. And I did overdo it, but I did catch up because I did want to watch it with everybody else because I did love it. I was very aware of the views and sub count at the beginning, and I didn't expect that because I was wanting to do this as a hobby. I was, I had stopped working at my salon I was a hairstylist, and my daughter was finishing up her senior year. My husband went off to work. I had the whole house to myself, me and the dogs. And I was just like, what can I do? Oh, that seems fun, you know? And then it just took off, and it can kind of get to your head to where it's like, I need to do another one. And that was fun to do that. But then again, I have to kind of like not take the comments too seriously or as a dare. That was my fault. I totally did. You know, nobody pushed me and said, you have to do it. Okay, Liam, the next question I have for you is number 3. How do you deal with your success? Big or small? Oof. Now this, we've already talked about comments a little bit. They can be wonderful that they love you or whatever. But how about the views and the number of subscribers that you have? Do you stay aware of those?
I really don't. Because again, like, I think I'd probably freak out, to be honest, if it started really ticking up. I'd like,
yeah.
I mean, there are people who follow, like, I have got patrons and stuff who follow both worlds. So, you know, they see the journalist and they see the reactor. So I'm not like Chinese wall or anything between them, but I try.
Right.
I've never used, I've got a really big social media following outside of this, and I've never used it to promote my reactions because I'm like, no, this is over here off stage, you know, kind of, you know, almost private relative to everything else.
Yeah.
So, but like handling success, like I've got experience in doing, and I think it is a challenge. I mean, as you know, the last couple of years I've been, you know, in recovery from PTSD and diagnosed with autism. So like things that have sort of, I think generally you think were bad things, but for me, I've considered it putting puzzle pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I've never been comfortable with success prior to this. Like I've craved it because I didn't really have any self-esteem.
Right.
So
yeah,
I didn't know I didn't have self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And no one around me knew I didn't have self-esteem. So like, that's the difficult thing is like, if you actually have never known what something is, you can think you have it. Because I just thought, well, it's when you feel good about something that you did.
Right.
But there's a difference between needing someone else to tell you that it was great and just in yourself going, no, I love this piece of work. I don't even give a shit if 10 people see it or 10,000 people see it. I'm so proud.
The success is within yourself. I feel successful with what I just did. And if nobody sees it, I'm happy, because if I'm trying to please A, B, and C, I'm not going to be happy, and I'm going to do what they want. And then I'm saying yes to them, and I'm saying no to me. And I never said yes to myself. I would always say yes to other people. I can do it because I want you to like me. Yeah. And and that's when my body, I think before I just had the breakdown years ago, I think my body was slowly saying, stop saying yes, stop saying yes, stop saying it, like little by little. And then once the dam broke, the water just flew out. I mean, my therapist had told me, she said, honey, the dam just broke. Mental health is very important for everybody.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It is important for everybody. Like there will be some of us who have been unfortunate enough to experience some traumas or abuse or whatever. You know, there's multiple types of trauma. Right. And, you know, that means that it might be more important for us to have extra attention paid to our mental health. But what often tends to happen is this, like the opposite. Like, you know, you've been traumatized. You don't feel like you deserve much. You know, and you never kind of built that. Like I would never have gone to therapy, but you know, it's just like that would not be a place that I would take myself. And I think one of the great things, the best things about this last couple of years for me has been, I remember literally the first time I felt self-esteem was in the past 2 years.
Yeah,
like actually felt it in my chest, like a totally new feeling that I'd never felt before. And I actually said to Nancy, what? That's my wife. It's like reactions. I chatted to my wife, Nancy. And I just said to Nancy, I've got this I don't even know what this is. It's like, it feels like it's quiet, but it's warm and it's kind of happy. And I could almost sort of like melt. And she was like, that's self-esteem. Oh my God, is that what that is? Shit, this is amazing. Like,
Exactly.
I've never had this. That stuff is like crack. And once you've got it, it's like you don't need all of those external validations. And I think
that's true.
Then you really can succeed on your own terms. And I think that's very different from, you know, I will bet you any amount of money that 99% of the people who are seen as successful in the world are traumatized people. Like, I will bet you any amount of money, because nobody has the time to strive that hard. You know, who's not been through
they are crying themselves to sleep at night. They are not getting any sleep. They're to achieve that success that they've wanted, they've had to give up a lot. And that's it's not worth it, because it's going to hit them one day, and it's not fun.
You know, it's like, it's no mistake, no accident, I think, that quite a lot of those people, you know, suffer addictions and, you know, and all of these according things, because I think you're trying to fill a hole. And for me, it's like finally getting to enjoy success on my own terms, the success I wanted, which was about making a positive difference in the world, and being someone who fought for the values I believe in. That was always really important to me, and I could never quite figure out how I was going to do it. I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. And so getting to do that now, it's like I've already succeeded. And so like every other thing is like, it's really hard to describe. It's like,
it's extra.
And I have the energy now to try harder at the things I care about, because I'm not so bogged down with this trying to impress people over stupid, trivial shit that really doesn't matter. And also when stuff goes wrong, it's not my very existence on the line, which is what it used to feel like, you know, oh my God, my business failed, or if my YouTube channel died, I'd be crushed to bits. Like now it's like, no, I'd just be me, and I'd just figure out something else to do, you know. I just move through it. So I think success, being able to enjoy success for itself, you know, on your terms. You really have to be mentally healthy to do that. And it's a very dangerous game to get into. Not because it can, you know, you can end up almost addicted, I think, you know, because you're like, it's like a hit, you know, if someone, you know, you get a new follower or you get another nice comment, and it's like you're like this constantly. You're like
constant. I didn't get a lot of views on this one video, but the one before that got a lot. So they don't like me. I did something wrong. It's
and you go,
you become obsessed.
Now it's like, and that's I think that's how you know the difference for yourself. I would say to anyone watching is pay very close attention to your own internal reactions to things. Because if you begin to feel like the failure of anything is the failure of yourself, like as in you as a person you're a failure. Something's broken in this system. If you can look at something and go, this is a project that I'm really committed to, it's really important to me, and I really want it to work, and I'm going to put everything I can into it, and if it fails, you can look at it and go, oh, I think maybe here was probably where it all started to go wrong, and then it cascaded after there. So when I do it next time, I'm going to not do that, and I'm going to do more of this. And if you're having that conversation, you know you're good. Okay, I'm in a healthy relationship with myself right now in this project.
That's perfect. That's a great explanation. And for those of you out there that are thinking of starting a channel, you're going to deal with haters. You're going to be on camera, so people are looking at you. But you've got to keep all this in mind with the thick skin is also to protect yourself. Don't let all that stuff that we just talked about it won't seep through if you've got the thick skin to say, And because it's all about keeping yourself happy, and like Scriptonite was saying, the success is within yourself, and then you're happy with yourself. Or if your channel is failing, you're not a failure. It's just you try a different way, you try it, whatever it is, but you've got to keep those things in mind. Brings me into number 4. Scriptonite. All right, number 3. How do you deal with your success?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I really don't care. Because I started this channel for Game of Thrones. And I've said it before, because my husband was watching Game of Thrones and told me I should watch it. And then I went to talk to him and he was like, who? Who's Stannis? I'm like,
I remember you saying that. I remember you saying that. You were like, you got me hooked on it. And then,
and then I couldn't even talk to him about it. Yeah. So I started, just so I could have people to talk to about it. And then it started to grow. And I was like, oh my God, no, stop. Because so many people were like commenting all the time. And I was like freaked out. And I have a full-time job that I love. I have a career that I invest a lot in. So this is just a hobby. I don't pay attention to the numbers.
It didn't cross your mind. I remember starting with Game of Thrones as well. And I think I would, maybe not every day. Well, maybe every day at the beginning, because you'd go to bed and there'd be 500 subscribers and you'd wake up and there'd be 1,200. And then I'd be like, well, wait a minute, what's happening?
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And then the next, and then you kind of get this, leveling out field. Then you don't check it as much. I didn't really pay attention to the views because I wasn't really aware of what it meant, or that like the views that you get, that's what kind of recommends other people that aren't familiar with you to maybe check out your channel and how that's linked together. Like I didn't know any of that.
The sub count went up, but what really shocked me was the comment section started getting busier, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
Yeah, 200
that was
comments.
No,
I can't read all of them.
Unsubscribe.
Don't leave a comment. Just watch it and don't leave a comment. I don't have time. I have a life. I have kids and a hard job. Oh my gosh.
Now that I'm the Game of Thrones stuff is over, most of it's gone back down, and I have a core group of people who kind of watch, because I'm doing something completely different now, but they watch and they'll comment. I'm like, I can handle this. I'm cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
When mine kind of got out of control because I started doing music reactions, my head started spinning, and I thought, I didn't know this was all going to happen. I wasn't prepared for that, and I kind of didn't like it. It was my expectations were real high all of a sudden.
Right.
And that made me nervous, and I already have anxiety. So I was and then I was trying to react to everything they would suggest, and then it would give me more subs. But then it snowballed, and then I was like, no, I liked it better when I was around 15,000, and it just kind of stayed. You know what I mean? I get that. Yeah. This leads us into question number 4.